Here comes Hewy, gonna give you the news. Time to watch his animated movie reviews, whether hand-drawn, CGI, puppets or clay. If you've got a good story, you'll be making his day. See you at the movies, cartoon movies. See you at the movies, hold on to. See you at the movies, like nobody's business. Hey, see you at the movies, animated movies that is.
Hey everyone, I'm Hewy Toonmore. Welcome to Hewy's Animated Movie Reviews, the show where I review animated films from old to recent, whether they be hand-drawn, stop-motion, or computer-generated. Video games. Who doesn't love them? Whether you're playing on the newer consoles such as the PS3, Xbox 360, or Wii, playing the retro consoles like the Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis, or even old-fashioned coin arcade systems, video games are always fun no matter what you go for. Hell, some of the games are so good that people actually want to see a movie based off them. Unfortunately, no one in Hollywood seems to get it right, with stinkers like Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li, Doom, Wing Commander, and every film by Uwe Boll, the Hitler of video game movies. But fortunately, Disney looks like it's heading the right track, starting with Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Yeah, it's still considered bad, but a lot of people say it's a lot better than previous video game adaptations. Hell, Tron back in 1982 was a film about video games, and it was still a decent hit. So much so that it gained a sequel years later, along with its own animated series. And just recently, Disney released another film about video games, which many people are already calling the beginning of a new golden era for the company. Even though I've been saying that since Princess and the Frog. Anyway, released on November 2nd, 2012, the movie is Wreck-It Ralph. As usual, since the movie was just released to theaters, I won't spoil anything too important for you. So, on with the review. Wreck-It Ralph is the villain of the arcade video game Fix-It Felix Jr., in which the game's eponymous hero fixes a building that Ralph destroys. For over 30 years, Ralph has been doing the same job and has become tired of being the villain. Wanting to prove he can be a hero and not just a villain, Ralph escapes his game through a power cord and lands in Hero's Duty, a light gun shooter game where he helps the game's hero, Sergeant Cohan, battle against Cybugs, the game's alien invaders. He later enters Sugar Rush, a kart racing game set on tracks made of candies, cookies, and other sweets. There, Ralph meets one of the game's characters, Vanellope von Schweetz, who has learned that her game is faced with a dire threat that could affect the entire arcade, and one that Ralph may have inadvertently started. So, what did I think of the movie? Well, it was awesome! This is by far the best animated film of 2012. It's the Who Framed Roger Rabbit of video game movies. It's the Toy Story of video game movies. It's the well, I'm not sure what else to compare it to, but still it's the best. But, to understand why I love this movie so much, let's move on to trivia time. Wreck-It Ralph started life many years ago at Disney as an animated movie titled Joe Jump, as developed by story artist Sam Levine. The original story revolved around a forgotten 8-bit arcade character who tries to adapt to the modern video game world. Eventually, the story evolved and changed into the Wreck-It Ralph we know today. A new director was also appointed, with Rich Moore taking the helm. Moore is most well known for being one of the people key to The Simpsons' early success by helming some more famous episodes like Marge vs. the Monorail and Cape Fear. So the guy who gave us this directed this. Awesome! He was also a major producer and director on The Critic and Futurama, and Wreck-It Ralph is his first animated feature. In making this homage to classic arcade games, the producers thought it was only appropriate that they put in actual video game characters and worked closely with video game companies like Capcom, Sega, and Nintendo to make sure they were animated correctly and portrayed properly. Some of the familiar characters who show up include Pac-Man, Bowser, and Bison, Q*bert, Sonic the Hedgehog, Frogger, and even the Pong Paddles. To add even further authenticity, Disney brought in the voice actors from the games, including Gerald C. Rivers as Bison and Roger Craig Smith as Sonic. But that's probably only a fraction of the characters you'll see, as many more show up. The scenes in Game Central Station are so filled with iconic video game characters, you will be looking in the background trying to spot them all. Every character except Mario, that is. I mean, It's weird, isn't it? They were able to get Sonic, Bowser, and every other famous video game character. Hell, Disney was able to purchase both Marvel and Lucasfilm, but they couldn't afford to get Mario? I wonder how the meeting for that went.
I am standing outside Walt Disney Animation Studios, as it seems an arson attack occurred during a meeting with famed video game character Mario, the main hero of the famed Super Mario games from Nintendo. The meeting was for him to make a cameo alongside with other famous video game characters for the new animated Disney film Wreck-It Ralph. While there is speculation that the meeting went horribly wrong due to Mario's actions involving his trademark Fire Flower, Mario's lawyer has stated that he has not lost his temper like this since the release of the critically panned third-party game, Hotel Mario.
Geez, so much for being a hero. Ooh, my favorite episode.
As for the animation, well, considering it's a video game movie, the animation certainly surprised me. The animation is well done and looks a million times better than in any video game cutscene. The animation on the characters looks great too. All of them are well detailed and pay homage to old and recent games like Donkey Kong, Mario Brothers, and even Metroid. So, now that we're done with trivia time, let's now talk about the voice actors who brought each character in the film to life. For the voice of Wreck-It Ralph, they hired Oscar-nominated actor John C. Reilly. An avid fan of arcade games, he even provided some additional story material to the movie. I really like this character. He's a lot like Shrek. He may look big and mean, but is really a nice guy with a good heart who just wants some appreciation after 30 years of being a video game villain. Plus, he also makes a great father figure, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Vanellope von Schweetz is voiced by comedian Sarah Silverman, most known for, well, some rather risque and raunchy humor you won't ever hear in a Disney movie. I like this character too. I mean, she starts off annoying, but after a while, she grows on ya. Plus, I think she's kinda cute. Fix-It Felix Jr. is played by Jack McBrayer, well known as Kenneth the Page on the NBC sitcom 30 Rock, and he'll also be voicing the title character in Craig McCracken's new animated show, Wander Over Yonder. He was okay. I mean, he's a nice guy, but maybe a little too nice. Though I do like the fact that he's a carpenter of sorts. A clear homage to Mario when he first appeared in Donkey Kong. Rounding out the cast is Jane Lynch as Sergeant Calhoun and Alan Tudyk playing King Candy, who sounds a lot like the Mad Hatter from Disney's animated version of Alice in Wonderland. These two are great characters, but I don't want to go into too much detail on them for fear of spoilers. And now for my final thoughts on the film. Well, as I've stated earlier, Wreck-It Ralph has got to be the best animated film I've seen all year. It brings back fond memories of when I was a kid playing Super Mario on the NES for the very first time, and is a great homage and tribute to video games in general, old and new. It has great CGI animation, clever humor, memorable and lovable characters, an engaging and heartwarming story, and plenty of cameos from classic game characters to please all you hardcore gamers out there. Disney definitely needs to make a video game based off this movie, and if they do, I hope it's just as good. But in the meantime, I'll just stick to playing Fix-It Felix on Disney's website. And if you're interested in playing the game, just visit Disney.com for a retro good time. I give Wreck-It Ralph a perfect rating of 5 gold stars. Oh, and be sure not to miss the animated short Paperman which plays before the movie. Trust me, you won't be sorry. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me for my next review. Until then, I think I'll go play some Mario Galaxy. See the movies. Anime movies, that is. Nice!